road crossing. A little bit of controversy. I think yesterday the organisers never manned tar road crossings, but they did the dirt road, and to me I think a tar road is more important than a dirt road. But we're trying to see what if they can overrule it, but apparently not. Bit sad, I'm the only top rider that's been penalised out of everybody, and today with a 5-minute penalty, starting in about 30th position, it's going to be a hell of an order. Very, very tall order. But I've just got to give it my best shot, and it's not really nice. I think there's 67 riders going out today, very, very angry with what the decision they did yesterday, and I just think it's going to be not a good day for those 67 riders, including myself.
Brian Bonderkoning contend in the 200 class. Alfie Cox is not a happy camper. How do you feel about this 5-minute penalty you've received?
We came across a traffic cop hiding in a bush, I think. Well, I didn't come across him, otherwise I would have stopped. I believe there was a road crossing that we didn't put our feet down at, so that wasn't classed as a stop, so we got a penalty. That's all right. We need like it's 5 minutes, so we'll catch them today.
A good turnout of spectators and a lot of local support for rider Graham McLaughlin.
The support's tremendous out there. Yesterday on the time trial I fell off going through the bottom of the bridge, and the local guys, they pulled me out. I didn't hear, they just pulled me right out of that hole there. So this local support it's amazing. Wherever I go, the guys are just shouting for me. So I'm definitely going to do my best to win today. For everybody here, I think everybody wants me to win, so I'm going to try hard.
Barry Creel quickest in yesterday's time trial, obviously going well for you.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with my win yesterday. I rode very well, I thought, and obviously it was good enough. I'm just going to take it easy. I'm obviously going to look at the championship. All I need is a second and a third in the next 2 races to win it, so it's not too critical that I win, but obviously I'd like to. But I'm going to go as fast as I can.
Andrew Ogden contend in the 200cc class championship. Barry Creel on pole for today's race. How do you see your race going?
I think if I just keep it together for the first half and then start pushing it towards the second half, catching up to Barry, it's going to be difficult. I mean, he rode well yesterday. He obviously likes this terrain. So I just got to keep my head together and push on.
Cornell de Villiers is also a top contender in the quad class running alongside the bikes today. Cornell de Villiers, how do you see your race going out there on that Bombardier 650 today?
Today is going to be very fast. The track looks very nicely marked, and so I believe it will go well. Got a championship to think of, so I just need to finish top 5, but hopefully go for a win as well.
The De Wetsdorp Showgrounds for the start of the race, and at least 3 of the 4 titles in the 2001 National Motorcycle and Quad Off-Road Championship will be decided during today's Moreka Ford Caledon 400, penultimate round of this year's championship. The final round will of course be the Roof of Africa at the end of the year. A good turnout and a lot of spectator support for these riders running alongside the quads and of course the cars. First man away is Barry Creel, the fastest man yesterday because Alfie Cox has got that 5-minute penalty. He should have been first away. Clayton Enslin, championship lead in the 250 class, gets away, followed closely by Gray Dick. Right behind them it's Elmer Simmons on the KTM, 4th away, and then just behind him the first of the Kawasaki's, Wayne Farmer, riding for Russell Campbell Racing. Andrew Ogden is next up on bike number 85. Some 40 seconds behind Barry Creel, his contender in the 200cc class, and next away will be number 262 Brendan Crooks. But out front, Clayton Ensign has already hit the lead. He's passed Barry Creel on that 200cc KTM, and Clayton Ensign is the man first on the road. Through comes the 200cc KTM of Barry Creel. Outstanding performance from that little bike and that rider. Grey Dick comes through on the Shimwell's Yamaha 426. Aggressive as ever. This ex-motocross rider knows his way through the bush. Elmer Simmons comes through, contending in this year's Enduro and Off-Road Championship. And back at the start line, Brandon Martin, the first of the quads, gets away. Out at the river crossing, this is Graham McLaughlin, local man with a lot of local knowledge. Notice how he goes around that deep old river. He knows his way through there, and a lot of local crowd support for him. Wayne Farmer comes down to the river on that Kawasaki, and he's seen the line that has been taken by Graham McLaughlin. That's clever riding from Wayne Farmer. Whoa! Along comes Andrew Ogden, and his championship is at stake because Barry Creel is out there in the front with that 200cc KTM on bike number 3. The next of the quads gets away, and that is Jacques Struvig on that Bombardier. And just after him, it'll be Cornell de Villiers on bike number L4. Jay Goodside on 750. He's flying down towards that river section. Whoa, not slowing down too much for that one. Jay Goodside as smooth as ever, but that bike doesn't sound quite right. Brendan Crooks on the Millimore KTM. Also a motocross rider from KwaZulu-Natal. Fights his way through that riverbed. And that's Carl LaRue on the Millimore KTM. Almost out of the saddle as he goes through the river. I think he hit a rock under that water. Jeffrey Wallater in the 200cc class. Bike number 6. He steps it up on the back wheel, and here's the madman, Daryl Curtis. How is he going to take the river? Whoa! Out of the seat, Daryl Curtis, the wild man of off-road racing. Quad rider Jacques Struvig is leading that quad class. Nice and smooth through that water section with the Bombardier. Through the gears and away he goes. Alfie Cox, don't forget that 5-minute penalty that he suffered yesterday, and already Alfie is making up time. The second of the quads right behind Alfie, that is Brendan Martin on that Yamaha Banshee. Caledon Enslin, look at the speed of the Shimwell's Yamaha as he flies down towards that flyover. They call it the flyover section, a lot of water underneath that flyover. Caledon Enslin being followed quite closely now by number 3, that's Barry Creel, the leader of the 200cc class. This is the man that started out the race in first place after yesterday's time trial. Smooth riding from Barry Creel. Grey deck on that Shimwell's Yamaha. Don't you just love the sound of that 4-stroke? And another 4-stroke behind him, Carl LaRue on the Millimore KTM 520 with its electric start in place. 2-stroke with a Kickstarter, that's Elmer Simmons on bike number 251. He's catching up to LaRue, so Elmer Simmons making his way through the field. And just behind them, Wayne Farmer on the Kawasaki. So it's a straight fight between the KTMs, the Shimwell's Yamahas, and Wayne Farmer on that Kawasaki. A nice mix of motorcycles. But it's got to be said that KTM is dominating off-road racing. I'm not surprised with the amount of dealer support that they give to these riders. Most of the other manufacturers seem to ignore this form of racing. And it's one of the most popular forms of racing in South Africa at present. Jay Goodside, smooth as ever, but the bike's sounding a little bit off form right there. Nice start from Jacques Pocket as he goes through the river section, and just behind him on the quad is Cornel de Villiers on bike number L4. Raymond Kleinhans fights his way through that water section on a KTM as well. Carl LaRue on bike number 504 down through that flyover section, takes it nice and easy. And that's Brendan Crooks, the motocross star. Look at the speed that he hits that water at. You don't know what's underneath that H2O. And here's the wild man on that gas, the big gas of Daryl Curtis. He sits down and he winds that throttle wide open on bike number 501. Even the lights are working on his motorcycle. Curtis using all the road and more. He doesn't give a damn for those rocks. And how does he hit the water? Let's guess. Flat out goes Curtis through the water. Alfie Cox has caught up a lot of ground. The South African veteran, the championship, the Desert Fox, has caught up a lot of ground. Jeffrey Wallater, third in the 200cc class, takes it a little bit more cautiously, and that is Leon Pretorius, followed by number 664, unlisted rider. We don't seem to have him in the program, but he's making good tracks through that water section, and that's Ron Bailey. Well, that's probably the easiest way to take that section. Just sit down and wind your way through. Grant May goes through on that KTM, followed by Brendan Badenhorst, who also has received a 5-minute penalty for not stopping at that road crossing yesterday on that quad number L1. That's Juan van Rooyen in the 125cc class with a KTM, being chased hard by Rian Kreling in the 500 class with a Millimore KTM. And that's Dali Blanche. Looks like the first of the Yamaha Raptors on the road. I wonder if his hair's that long, or is that a wig that Dali's wearing? Jacques Struvik comes through under the flyover section, takes it cautiously on the big Bombardier. That's the way to ride these things in a wave as he goes out into the bush. And that's Brandon Martin, doesn't want to get water in the works with the big Banshee Yamaha, sponsored by Gas this year. Jacques Pakita comes through on another KTM. Nice tight line for Jacques, and then up and over the bank he goes. Cornel de Villiers, caution is the name of the game for this guy, and that is why he's contending the South African Championship with the big Bombardier. Rian Kreling comes through, more speed for him, third gear as he climbs up, and over he goes. Rian Kreling crashes out on the Millimore KTM. Funny how that happens when both cameras are pointing at you. Rather embarrassing for Kreling as he goes out there. Number 200, Brian Bontekoning, comes through on the 200cc gas, also has that 5-minute penalty to catch up on. Caledon Enslin comes down the dirt road, and through the gate he goes down towards the refueling point. Caledon Enslin has got a good lead now from Barry Creel on the 200cc KTM. Creel doing fantastically well in that 200 class, second overall. That's unbelievable. Elmer Simmons, great style from him. The riders all coming down now towards that refueling section. Grey Dick on the Shimwell's Yamaha 426. Sounds like he's got the idling turned right up on that bike. He doesn't want to stall it because then he's got to kickstart it again. Wayne Farmer on the Russell Campbell Racing Kawasaki. Just behind him, followed by Carl LaRue, bike number 504. He's having a great ride today on the Miller Moore KTM. Andrew Ogden comes through second in the 200 class. He's got some time to make up on Barry Creel, and he misses a gear as he comes out of that section. Down at the refuel, the pit crews are waiting for those riders to come in. Who is it going to be? It's Clayton Enslin on bike number 250. They have to stay in first gear through the pit area, no speeding allowed, and you'll notice he's got that fuel cap off before he even stops. Refuel, drink of water and wipe those goggles, and in comes Barry Creel on that 200cc KTM. Slick pit crew as ever, and out goes Clayton Enslin on bike number 250. Elmer Simmons comes in on the KTM for his refuel. Wipe those goggles and a drink of water. Creel goes out back into the bush for lap number 2. Grey Dick arrives for the refuel. Simmons goes out. Just one lap to go for him. And Carl LaRue, quick pit stop for him on the Miller Moore KTM. This team doing great work this year after having changed over from Honda. In comes Alfie. Not happy about that 5-minute penalty, but he has made up an enormous amount of time, and he's now lying third in that 500cc class. 500cc, they call it open class nowadays. You can run any capacity you want. In fact, Alfie's bike's probably about 700 cc's by the sound of that thing, and the way it stands up on its back wheel. Andrew Ogden in the 200 class, that is only allowed to be 200 cc's, and it's a 2-stroke to boot. Through the muddy section, Clayton Enslin, take a look at the style of this rider, standing up on those pegs right through the mud, rather rich at the top. Oh, sideways for Barry Creel. He is on the gas with that 200. Elmer Simmons goes through, stands up. That's the way to ride through mud sections. Stand up and use your knees against the fuel tank to keep that bike in line. Grey Dick, well, he just listened to my advice, hasn't he? Stand up, I said, Grey. He just puts his feet out and takes a handful of throttle. Carl LaRue goes through. He also sits down through those mud sections. Jade Goodside, not having such a great day on the big KTM. And that's Jeffrey Wallater gets back on board the 200cc KTM to go out back onto the final lap. And the first of the quads comes in, Jacques Struvik. Daryl Curtis, he's got an electrical problem on the gas. He's not even bothering to refuel. He's calling it a day. Clayton Enslin is out front, and he's pulled a commanding lead. Overall leader and the leader in the 250cc class. And this man leading the 200s, that is Barry Creel on bike number 3. Elmer Simmons comes flying through. He's second in the 250 class and third overall. Wayne Farmer, third in the 250cc class and fourth overall. A good ride from that Russell Campbell Racing bike. Grey Dick, as always, flat out. First in the open class and fifth overall. And that's Alfie Cox. He's caught right up now. He's second in the open class. That's the South African title wound up for Alfie Cox. Carl LaRue, third in that open class. But the winner, down at the finish line, Clayton Enslin. And this is the South African Championship for him. The winner of that 250 class. Unbeaten record this year. Jacques Struvik, the winner then on the Bombardier in the quad class. The Desert Storm 650s taking over. Cornel de Villiers in second place, and he wins the South African Championship for 2001 in that quad class. Down at the finish line, Barry Creel finishes his race second overall, and just behind him, Elmer Simmons. But Barry Creel has got a protest lodged against him. Something about his riding out on the course. They're not happy with him, and Creel is about to be excluded, thereby handing that win to Andrew Ogden and perhaps the South African Championship. Watch this space.
Hey, going really loving it. Got the championship in the bag, and today was a good. I got the overall, so really happy. It's a big party tonight.